Steve here, and we're going to do a little bit of an adventure component of off-road grind. Michelle and I love to go camping, and we use the 4Runner to get out in the woods. And this is a tent that I purchased earlier in the year. Not expensive at all, super lightweight, and I got it for $57. I think it's like 65 or 66 now. It's a two-person tent, and this is what it's supposed to look like over here. These get connected to the ground, but I'm playing around with creating more of a vestibule on there. I'll show you how the size of this one. But what I've been doing here, I want to incorporate our trekking poles into making a bit of a vestibule. So I want to add some fly material onto that. So let me show you what that's all about. So as you can see on the inside, this tent is all screen. It's awesome in the summertime when it's hot. Couple things I don't like about it though, and again for 60 bucks, I am not complaining per se, but I'm certainly not gonna sit on it and just let it stay like that. So that's the size of the vestibule normally, maximum. You really can't get a whole lot in there if we've got big backpacking, 70, 80 liter backpacking packs and our boots and such. There's no room in there. So I wanted to create a bigger opening by incorporating our trekking poles, which we'll always have with us when we're hiking. What I'm thinking of doing is taking some fly material that I ordered, create a triangle here through this section here, and the same on the other side, and then put another triangle in the top here with a zipper. So I might make it so that I can zip it out. So I'll put a zipper here, but what I'm thinking of doing is sewing the fabric right into this baffle, and then putting a zipper over here adjacent to this zipper, keeping this one in place. So if I wanted to close it down, let's say it's really windy from one side, then I can ignore the vestibule that we put in there and just close that one side down. So say the wind's coming from this direction, then I can close this vestibule down and then just have this bigger one open on the other side, which is great for cooking under, except if I open it up like this, it's raining, that's not good. So I need to cover off this top area. So I'm gonna sew some fly material into there, put a zipper down one side with a lightweight coil zipper, and then just sew in some fabric on these two corners, and then have this triangular piece come out, I guess might as well be to this section here, right down to the peg, and that'll create a really good wind block, and then probably have the fabric come across to here and over. And even if it's a bit windy and rainy from this side, that's enough of a overhang that the rain's not going to get into the tent, I would think. And if it is, then I'm probably going to end up sewing on another panel down here eventually. But we'll try it this way first and see how that goes. Okay, so here's my thoughts for incorporating this fly into this fly. So I've got all these, it's kind of a weird shape, this fly. But what I'm thinking is sew this edge here along this fly, right like that. So right from this corner all the way up to where this pole is here. I'm going to the bottom, so it'll attach there and it'll attach over here on this peg, and then run down this guy line here. Do the same thing on the other side. Sew that right into there. So I've just got some chalk for fabric here. Makes it easy to create marks. And I can rub them out really quickly and easily too. Underneath. Yeah. Just down to here, like that. So I'm just going to draw another line along that, like I did on the other side. Like that. So it's just got a line now for that edge. And then now I've got this amount of fabric here left over in the middle. And so pop that up here. Nope, I'm just going to go past the center seam. Just trying different options, making sure I'm thinking the right one. It's going to work. So let's try that. Do a little sewing and see how it works out. A little update on how the additions are going. So we've got the two side panels cut, so these are going to get pegged into here. Probably even just use these as the, don't even need the rope really. And put probably a grommet up in the corner here. And then flip these poles upside down and put the carbide tip up through the grommet. I think that'll be pretty solid. And then peg into a loop on the bottom corner here. Pull that out and down. That'll be all sewn up along there. And then we're going to have this sewn up in underneath this baffle. Keep the zipper here because the other zipper is up under here. And if I wanted to pull this whole vestibule down so it's not open like this, maybe the wind is really harsh from this side, then that other zipper is still there, and this will just be a little excess fabric that'll flop around a bit. Maybe could unzip it and then coil it up and have a little tie down straps. I think that might work. And what I'm thinking of doing too is have some little straps that come here on the middle of the tent and just pull it out a tad. Because I don't like that it's folded in against the wall there, so stake here would be good. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then start sewing it together, and then we're done. Pretty simple. Here's where we're at so far. So I'm going to hem up these edges, sew that in, probably put a straight line across the bottom of this little extension. Like that. Same thing on the other side. Sew these zippers in. Sew this hem in. And I was thinking of putting a grommet here. I might still do that. But I'm going to leave these straps. I was almost going to take the straps out and just leave a grommet, but I think I'll do both. I'm going to pop a grommet in there so we can either have the butt end here as the top, or flip it and put the carbide tip through the grommet here. That'll give us a bit more options. And then I gotta sew in some little straps to the middle of these panels here to pull those out a little bit. And yeah, then I think we're done. So I'm going to pop some grommets into these little reinforcing tabs. So I put these on the end of all the extensions. You'll see them once the tent's up. I'm just going to put a grommet in here and hopefully be able to attach this right to a stake or a little rope and a stake, so I don't need the rope coming down off the trekking pole, but I'll have that option there as well. You just pop the grommets in all these four corners and above where the trekking poles are going to go in case I want to use the tip of the carbide tip to come up through the grommet. So go through some of these. Pretty straightforward for using a grommet tool. Just punch the hole, put the grommet up through the hole, put it in the little anvil base here. Put the washer kind of round side up over top of that. And then a little plunger tool. This is going to curl the grommet collar back over top of the washer. Nice. Okay, we're ready to put the tent together. I think I got this fly all set and we're ready to roll. I think I got it figured out, and I might have to tighten up some panels that, because I'm pulling it out, might be sagging in a little bit, but we'll see how it goes once I get everything tightened up and staked down. The good thing about this tent I really like is it's got these light buckles on the corners for the fly. So if we're on a rock or something, you can actually get the fly on without having to put any stakes in it down. And the tent is pretty freestanding as well. I can stake the corners, but I don't have them staked just yet. Did yesterday. Okay, so there's that. Now we've got the grommets in the corner. I'm going to be able to pull those out with a little string. And then I've also put grommets up on the edge of the vestibule here so I can use the carbide tip of the pole and just sit that in there like that. Or I can dig the pole down into the ground. This will be easier to actually get this loop on here. Just hold it like that, so that's cool. And then that will get a stake in here. Try that in a second. Pretty nice. I like the ability to pull this out to the side. I think I'm going to put a string, well obviously I need them on the ends of the tent here, but I think a little rope. These guys just So we finally got the tent finished, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. If it's super windy, I can bring these extra guy lines up here to really create some good tension. But typically, what I'm trying to avoid is just getting rained on when we're trying to actually cook inside the vestibule area here. And I also want to make sure that we've got more room to store our bags without it getting wet from dew or rain overnight. If it's really stormy, we'll bring it down. And the way that would typically work is we'll just pop the poles down here. And then there's a zipper here on the outside if we want to take the extension vestibule right off. But there's actually also the old zipper in here. And then that'll just come down like that. And we can bring that as much down as we want. So if I was going to close it up for the night, I would probably bring these in. And then zip that up. And there's little tabs here that were a part of the original tent, and they could get placed down there. Or probably what I would do is probably just have that there like that. And I'm going to create a little strap here and just tuck that in there so it's not flopping around all over the place. Or maybe even like that, create a little bit more waterproof seal over the zipper here. But I really like the way this has come together and the way this extension is going to work for us in terms of creating extra space. And the big thing that I'm always looking for is, and we experienced this when we were up in Colorado this summer, we went on a couple pretty awesome hikes, and of course it rains. And so what I wanted to do is be able to have a place in the tent that I could actually cook and be able to put our stuff in. That's going to create a really good overhang. The water will just flow right off that. It's super light fly material, so we're really not adding a whole lot to the tent. So I think I'm pretty happy with the way that's all turned out. Just taking a quick tour. So I put these little side grommets in as well on the bottom to pull the tent out from the wall. The tent came with these ones. The tent came with the orange guy lines here. I don't think they really do anything other than just keep the tent connected to the ground, but I don't really see it being that beneficial for camping and keeping the rain off the fly so it's not getting into the tent. But anyways, there's our tent. Little extension, pretty much exactly the same on both sides. I like it, and I think it's going to work out pretty good. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.